Maybe you haven't heard her name, but you have heard her work. Crystal Holmes is a professional audio engineer with over 10 years of experience in the animation industry. Demon Slayer, Dawn to Dawn, Date Everything. Her credits list is endless. But today, we're here to talk about her upcoming short film, Paint Rekindled. Listen to a summary of the film as told by Crystal herself. Then we'll dive right into our interview.
Hi, my name is Crystal, and I am the writer and director of an upcoming animated film called Paint Rekindled. Paint Rekindled is a short film about a painter who has been struggling heavily with artist block, burnout from work, just life in general, dealing with a crap ton of hyperfixations. In the midst of trying to come up with an idea for a painting, she accidentally summons this magical flame that actually jumps from a candle wick and merges with paint on a canvas and ends up doing a contemporary ballet piece. And through the course of the dance, the whole film is basically just trying to highlight the importance of recapturing that inner flame and kind of highlighting what it means to truly feel inspired.
I love the concept. Just hearing it from you reminds me of when you would watch those little mini commercials in between on PBS as a kid, and it'd be some little object that would jump up and come to life. It just feels nostalgic, like old school animation storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
the magic in the everyday. I'm sure you've had a plethora of story ideas. What was it about this story that made you say, I have to make this one?
Ooh, I would say that the story itself and the time that I'm in is what inspired for me to actually hit the ground running on getting this project done. Because, like you said, I have had a couple of ideas that I've written down and never actually dove into. Honestly, the character is a very major reflection of me. I also suffer from many hyperfixations, and I was also incredibly burnt out. I was even inspired for the whole dancing part by a song that I saw on TikTok. So the whole concept of coming up with the idea for the short started from the dance, and I kind of just moved backwards to what led up to that point and actually writing the script for the story.
So what song was it that you saw?
Um, so it's
You don't want to tell
from,
us?
I keep debating about that because some people I give the answer to, some people are like, I don't know if I want to say. I don't think this is a song that anyone would be surprised to hear about because it was something that was trending on TikTok for a while, and I think they should be very proud of what they made because the song itself grew to be more popular than the film it was actually made for. It's from a short film called Every Living Breathing Moment.
I know the song you're talking about. That's
Yeah.
so expertly composed. Not
Right?
that I'm a musician, in that regard, but it evokes so much emotion, I think is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm really trying to say. So I can
Yeah.
see how that could be inspirational.
Yeah, and when I listened to the song, I kept seeing a dance in my head. It wasn't a consistent dance, I knew what type of dance it was. It's not like I had a full choreography in my head, but I did keep seeing the dance. And I found myself just kind of swinging my arms around as if I was dancing when I'd listen to it too. And so, yeah, it hit me hard.
What made you decide to go the indie route versus pitching a studio?
Studios seem impossible, honestly, at this point, but I was really inspired by my peers and just seeing so many people online just coming up with their own projects. It takes just a certain amount of projects that you were very happy for them, by the way, very excited to see them come to life and be like, why am I not just doing it too? Right? What's stopping me from doing it too?
That's been a theme, actually. I've interviewed several creators as a part of this series. I'm doing the indie animation Black Girl Magic, your story showing magic with Black girls at the center.
Yeah.
And that's actually been a recurring thing when I ask people that is they saw other people doing and they're like, I should do too.
Mm.
And I think that's beautiful when we talk about creativity, that creativity begots creativity, basically. You
Yeah.
guys are like, yeah, you guys are like, ooh, I should be creative. I should also do it. I should go for it. So you said that pitching studios felt impossible. What made it feel impossible to you?
Um, it's sort of a gatekeepy kind of industry, I would say. I'm actually a professional sound engineer and I've been working in post-production for 13 years. So I'm familiar with the post side, the end goal, but I've seen how hard it is to pitch. I know that it really matters who you know, who you're bringing on board, especially if you haven't made a name for yourself yet. I haven't exactly had a bunch of successful works. I can be like, you can trust me, right? Give me tons of money to make this film.
Right.
I would say the reality of starting from scratch and getting up to pitching to a studio it feels near impossible. I don't want to say it's impossible, but it feels near impossible without having something to back you up, you know?
I can understand what you mean. I think especially this moment in animation, there's a huge shift happening, and we've lost like the greats like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
That hit
Like
hard. That hit so hard.
yeah, like they were propping up. They were a huge part of the industry in the U.S. I feel like that's even just a microcosm of what's going on with the entire industry. So I could see how maybe studios just aren't as willing to accept pitches.
Yeah.
So how much of your story do you currently have plotted?
Of the story, or how far along are we?
I guess both. Like, how much
Oh.
of the story do you have done, and how far along are you?
So the script is done. I actually
nice.
finished that probably, I would say, January. And
Okay.
we're nearing the end of pre-production right now. I would say just to give all the details.
No, go ahead. That's what you're here for.
Oh, sure, yeah. All the details. We have the script, we have storyboards. I've assembled my team, are ready for production. They've begun. I've done concept art. They're modeling right now, and I've got a layout artist as well. We do plan on launching crowdfunding next month, but I'm trying to assemble enough materials to showcase, like, hey guys, this is what we got going on, before I really let the ball roll for the crowdfunding thing.
What platform are you anticipating using for crowdfunding?
So I was really debating. I saw a lot of people using Kickstarter, which is great, but it seems like that platform does well for people that have already established a following. I haven't really done that yet. So I think I'm going to take the Seed and Spark route, which does heavily focus on filmmakers. It's not anything and everything raising money. So Seed and Spark is where we're gonna be at.
Let's talk more about your story. So your main protagonist, B, it's B, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. She's a dark-skinned Black woman. She's sporting giant glasses. She loves puzzles, knittings, and plants. Could you tell me more about what inspired her characterization?
Sure. So, well, her name is inspired by my grandmother, my late grandmother. Yeah. And I would say, like, kind of like I mentioned before, B is a major reflection of me. She doesn't look like me exactly, but I mean, in a way, got curly hair. But in terms of, just an artist just starving for I wouldn't want to say meaning, but a reason to be excited to get up in the morning. I've had works that, and this is the one right now, actually. I've had projects that I was working on and so heavily invested in, and it was exactly what I looked forward to at the end of the day. It's exactly what I was excited to start working on as soon as I woke up. And I think that's kind of how artist minds tend to work. We're easy to grasp or look for hyperfixations, and when we have a project, it's something that fuels us and drives us to get up in the morning and get out of bed, excited to end the day, you know? So
Yeah.
B is definitely that type. And all the different hyperfixations that I'll have in the short, it's almost going to be kind of like Easter eggs. Some of them just planted around the house, like, oh, did you also dabble in this? I only listed a very few online of some of the stuff she gets into. But when she goes upstairs to her attic, which is going to be her art studio, you'll see how hard she's worked on all the different projects, and how life has affected her work, as well as what inspires the flame. At the end of the film, you'll see what inspires the flame.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm like, ooh, how life has impacted her work. Ooh, let's see. I know you can't tell me everything because we have to watch it. So, yeah. Would you like to tell us about any of the other characters in your story? I know there's,
Yes,
like a little cute kitty.
yeah. So the kitty Zola, she plays a pretty big part in B's life. B lives alone, so again, just relating to me. I have a cat. I have a cat who she's my number one fan, my number one supporter, I would say that Zola is also the positive light. There's going to be a lot of moments where B is down and she looks at the cat and she's just immediately like reminded, like, that's right. It's not that hard. It's not that bad. Things will get better. That's a huge part that the cat plays. And the type of cat is inspired by my cat. I have an orange tabby as well, and she is of senior age. So I would say that Zola is a way for me to kind of preserve my kitty cat in an animated film for when I no longer have her with me.
So sentimental. We have your grandmother here and your lovely cat. That's so sweet. So tell me about your composer. So who are you working with for your short?
So I came across this amazing composer on my TikTok. Her name is Danaya. She studied in America, but she also studied in Japan. And you can kind of see the mix of what studying in two different cultures, like how that applies to her music. It sounds very unique. So I was really excited to reach out to her and see if she had the time to work with me. And she said yes. And I was like, eh. Just the process of working with her was also amazing because I've worked with composers before, but she is an artiste. When I tell you, like, she's able to
Ooh.
describe things down to the T, and she was teaching me too. I was like, okay, I didn't know that's what that was called. Just, I had so much fun working with her, and then we got to meet. Eventually, she came out to LA, and that was also powerful because the majority of the people I'm working with, they're not out here. Like half my team is in Europe or Africa, and the other half is out here. But and then I found my ballerina, who her name is Jamie, another amazing Black woman. She is very skilled in all things ballet, and she's got really strong legs, which I love. She can hold those poses. I had the pleasure of recording her for my dancer. Throughout her choreography, she was imagining having paint that she was in control of because the dancer is going to be like painting on the canvas and throwing paint out. And oh yeah, the visuals, that's gonna be expensive. I can't wait till we get to that part with the visuals. But yes, both ladies were amazing. I love them. They're great.
That's so cool. Oh my God. That's so cool. So you're working with an actual ballerina and you have your composer. So that's interesting to me because when I watch specifically animation, when I watch animation, I always wonder which came first, the music or the animation. Like I'm like, which, and so
that's
I just don't, I'm just not aware of the process. So I was like, man, which one comes first? Do they, because they'll hit the beats just right. And I'm like, okay, did they have to go back and edit that? Or did the music come first and then they edit it to the beat? You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting.
That's actually, it comes later.
Okay, so then they do have to go back and re-edit
it. Yeah. But remember, I was inspired by a song, and my whole story started with a song. So I needed the song to even have my choreographer come up with the dance. First the song, then the dance. And yeah, so that whole scene, I couldn't even storyboard until I got both those ladies.
So you're literally working in reverse, which is interesting because of your background as an audio engineer. So it makes sense that for you, the audio comes first. Like those other people got it backwards for you.
No, honestly, like people don't think enough about post-production when they're working on their film. It always comes as a last minute thought. So they'll be like, oh yeah, we forgot to do that. Let's get this, fix it. The term fix it in post, which is like a curse word to
it's like the graveyard.
Yes, like you're cursing at me. Watch your mouth. Yeah, no, it's it would really benefit a lot of people in their films if they could think about post ahead of time, because that can also save you in animating. Sound can tell story without visuals, so you don't have to spend all the money animating a full scene when someone, whether it's dialogue or sound effects or even music, can play a part in just pushing your story forward sometimes. And people learn that eventually. They just don't, not too many people that aren't familiar with film are aware.
Going back to thinking about, specifically right now in my brain, I'm thinking about Spider-Verse because a lot of it's very musical. A lot of the swinging, a lot of the action takes place on the beat of the music. And I just imagine how much work it would be to animate all of that, get the songs, and go back and say like, oh, I got to redo all of that information, versus like if they had started with the music, they would have animated, and like you're paying people to do the job twice now, basically.
It really depends. Because there's also this thing called, have you heard of temp love? Do you know what that is?
No, I'm not aware. Please explain.
So what people will do is they'll have temporary music and sound effects that they put in while they're working on storyboards. And sometimes people get really attached to the temp songs, which are usually not copyright safe. And it can be very difficult when working with a composer when you become so attached to a song to let go of what you remember and be open to collaborating with the actual composer and saying like, okay, let them do their own version of this, and here's how they can interpret what you're trying to feel in the scene, as opposed to just trying to copy and paste exactly what the temporary music is.
I wonder what kind of arguments happen in the room. What? Look, now I'm trying to create a drama reality show, the animation studio where you have. I would pay to watch that actually. Completely off topic, but if there was an animation studio reality show and we got to see, I just imagine it's very stressful in there. Do people still like, are animation studios mostly remote now? Are people actually going into the office and sitting beside each other and working?
Yeah, it works better that way, honestly, to have people in studio. There's a lot of getting up and going to talk right next to the person about what you're working on. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you can do your work remote, but there might be feedback or, um, uh, questions and even meetings that involve multiple eyes on the same page at the same time. And it's very easy to be distracted when you're remote. Also, it's easy to put things off to the side. I enjoy remote work. Don't get me wrong, but there's
Yeah.
still a huge benefit of having people still working in the studio together.
No, I understand that. And then just even feeding off each other's energy. Okay, so tell me about the art style. How did you decide on what was the correct art style to tell your story?
So I am a huge fan of 2D animation. I love 2D animation. And I was debating about whether I wanted to go the 3D or 2D route because of time and money. I know that
Hmm.
2D takes a while and it is very expensive. I decided to go with 3D but 2D texturing. So it's becoming much more popularized now, especially since
Yeah,
Spider-Verse.
exactly. Spider-Verse really showed how to balance those mediums. I think
Right.
what's shoot, I forgot the name of that. Arcane
Mm-hmm.
also did a good job of balancing those. But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Arcane, Spider-Verse. What is it? I don't know if you're familiar with The Wild Robot, but that
Yes, I
also,
loved the Wild Robot so much.
yeah.
Yeah, I cried a lot as a mother. I was like, oh
Me too. I'm
no,
not a
but
mother, but
it's such a good movie though.
I also
But
cried.
yeah, so that kind of mixed texture art style is what we can expect from this. That's really fun. I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah.
So tell me, for people who may not know, what makes 2D more expensive to produce than 3D?
Ooh, I'm I don't want to be wrong about this. Here's the thing. I don't work in animation on that side. So I
Hmm.
forgive me if I am wrong about this, but this is what I'm guessing based off like some of the stuff I've heard. There's a lot more handwork involved in 2D. There's obviously programs out there like, is it called Mojo? There's one where you kind of turn 2Ds into puppets and stuff. But the traditional
Hmm.
drawn hand drawn 2D, it's literally just the manpower involved. The elbow grease.
All the hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Versus like a computer can rig up a 3D model pretty simply, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, the person definitely works hard to make the model, but once you have I call them puppets. So once you have the 3D model, you're set. A 2D artist needs to maintain the consistency of the character through every single frame, as opposed to
Hmm.
3D where it's like she's textured, she has her shape and everything. You change the camera angle, and that's all you had to do. As opposed to like a 2D
Yeah.
artist that needs to know the angle for a human and perspective
Hmm.
change with the camera lens and all that. There's a little extra work that gets involved into it.
So literally just the huge difference between creating digital art versus physical medium art.
That's a
Like,
good way to
so
compare it. Yes.
I could see how that could get pretty expensive, paying for all of those artists to keep a deadline, especially. So I know we talked a little bit about the timeline. You said that you're finishing up pre-production. You're planning to get your scenes spark up hopefully next month. When do you anticipate the film being able to come out?
So obviously, this is depending on how well crowdfunding goes, because crowdfunding is going to be
Hmm.
for production. I would say if all goes according to plan, it would be spring of next year. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. The crowdfunding is for the proof of concept. So
Okay.
just like like basically like a trailer, I would say for people that don't know what that is, or a teaser of what the film is.
Hmm.
Because once we raise money and finish the proof of concept, we'll be using that to pitch for grants and just like even more funding to finish the entirety of the film. So yeah, I would say look forward to the crowdfunding to get the ball rolling on the teaser, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
And just curious, how do you plan to distribute the film once I know we're jumping super far into the future here,
No,
but
it's okay.
once, you know, everybody, it's super crowdfunded, it's over crowdfunded, you've
Woo!
made all the money.
Woo!
And
Yes.
the trailer's out, everybody loves it, and they just throw more money at you. Then how do you expect to distribute the completed film from there?
So I know that we would love to do a festival run, and typically with festivals, they prefer exclusivity. So it would not be allowed online during that festival run. And I'm sorry, I can't really give a window of time for that because I'm not really sure. I haven't done festivals in a long time. I'm not really sure
Fair.
how long that window will be. But once that is done, it will be available. It will be available on like YouTube. And we hope to pitch it to streaming as well. Part of the crowdfunding, we have incentives that people that do back it will also be able to get a digital copy once it's finished. So they don't have to worry about it. It will be theirs.
Yeah, you'll get it.
You'll get it.
Those people gotta wait.
They gotta wait.
Yes. So do you have any advice for, maybe there's someone out there being inspired by you right now? Do you have any advice for them if they also want to pursue creating their own animation?
I feel like the hardest part is starting for most people. You know, there's a lot of reasons to tell yourself you can't do it and talk yourself out of it. Hell, I'm dealing with it even right now with my own project because there's so many tasks that I'm managing and there's new challenges that I'm facing that I'm like, can I do it? I don't know. So it's even in the midst of it, I still find myself trying to talk myself out of things. But once you get started, I think you'll really be surprised how much passion can really drive your creativity on it. And once the flow gets going, it's like it feels nonstop, especially when you bring other people in. It's a lot harder to manage things by yourself and also feel you can convince yourself, I'll do it later. But when you have a team that's waiting on you and expecting, feedback from you, and or even if it's not your own film, but you're working on someone else's, just the collaborative efforts involved, I feel like that helps also get people off their butt.
Right.
And be a little bit more diligent with their time.
When you're beholden to each other, you're like, okay, I gotta work on this, or else Charmaine's gonna call me and be like, hey girl, where were you at? What's going on?
Exactly. Yes. We need accountability partners. That's what my crew is. So yeah.
Last time I looked, your Instagram still had a link looking for crew. Are you still looking for crew, or are you completed on that?
For the proof of concept, majority of my crew is found. However, I still have it up because once we start working on the rest of the film, we're going to want to have more people on board. My crew is pretty small for the proof of concept. So I don't really want to take that down, just because if anyone is feeling like, oh, I would really love to work on this, I want to tell them too late.
Right.
We don't need you anymore. That's just not the case.
So there you have it. You can get on the ground floor of this project before all the money starts rolling in, So
get in early.
Okay, so right, exactly. So what's the best way that people can support you if they want to support you specifically, Crystal, or Paint Rekindled?
I would say, the crowdfunding thing is the thing I'm most nervous about. But there's so much power in spreading the word. I feel like it's not said enough sometimes. I've known people that would like try to do ads and just like pay for ads, or even people put up things physically, which does help. But when you have people that are actually excited about a project, that speaks life into your project more than you ever could. But the amount of people that can just be like, oh, have you heard about this? Have you heard about this? So just having people that share it, that talk about it, and once the time comes to share some money, then that's obviously going to help us really good. When you're feeling charitable,
it never hurts.
Exactly.
It never hurts. All right, Crystal. Well, thank you so much for your time. Everybody make sure that you go follow Crystal and look out for her paint. Hold on. My brain farted. Paint Rekindled. Look out for Paint Rekindled I'm going to say on all platforms. Go follow. And make sure everybody stays cute.
Stay cute. Thank you so much for having me.